Instructor said, "No weapon can stop it." The human cadet loaded one anyway. The training base smelled of metal and oil, a sharp scent that always made Cadet Liam Carter's nose twitch. The walls were tall and smooth, glowing softly with panels that shifted color from blue to purple. Light hovered in the air without any visible source, casting shadows that moved like liquid. Liam adjusted the strap of his gear and looked around. Around him, cadets from different planets practiced drills, their movements precise and confident. Most of them had shapes and sizes that Liam had never seen before. Some had multiple arms, some had wings, and some seemed almost made of light. Liam's heart beat faster than usual, not because he was afraid, but because he was excited. He liked challenges, and today the challenge was different from anything the Academy had ever done. Today they would face a simulation of the Void Devourer, a weapon said to be impossible to stop. The instructors had warned that no technology in the galaxy could withstand it. Viewership, the lead instructor, walked into the bay. He was massive. His scales shimmered in patterns that seemed to move on their own, and his eyes glowed like molten gold. Every movement he made was smooth and deliberate, like a predator observing prey. When he spoke, the vibrations in his voice made the floor hum slightly. "No weapon can stop it," Viewership said, letting the words hang in the air. "You will witness the power of the Void Devourer. Watch carefully, learn carefully, and do not make mistakes." The cadets murmured. Many of them, particularly the aliens, nodded in agreement. Humans were known for bravery, but often it was mixed with recklessness. Some cadets whispered among themselves, saying things like, "He's human, he doesn't stand a chance." Liam heard it but did not respond. He had a habit of listening more than talking. The Void Devourer appeared in the simulation chamber. It looked like a tower made of dark metal that seemed to drink in light. Energy coils ran along its sides, pulsing with a rhythm that made the air feel heavy. Even the simplest glance at it made Liam feel the weight of its power. The other cadets froze in place, unsure of how to react. Viewership continued, "This is the ultimate weapon. It can destroy fleets, planets, and even stars. Your task is to survive, analyze, and understand its pattern. No one has ever defeated it." Liam's fingers brushed the small weapon hidden beneath his coat. It was human-made, simple compared to the advanced devices the aliens carried. It was not flashy. It did not hum or glow. But Liam trusted it. He trusted his mind more than any machine. The simulation began. The Void Devourer released a wave of energy that swept across the chamber. The force was strong enough to push cadets off their feet if they were not careful. Aliens scattered, some using shields, others flying or jumping out of the path. Liam crouched, keeping his balance. He watched carefully, noting every pulse, every flicker of energy. It was strange how predictable the machine seemed. Its power was overwhelming, yes, but it followed a rhythm. Humans were known for observing patterns and finding solutions where others only saw chaos. Liam remembered that lesson clearly. The first few minutes were chaotic. The aliens' shields shimmered and flickered, absorbing part of the energy but cracking under the strain. Some cadets fell, their armor damaged. Liam stayed low, moving carefully, letting the energy waves pass over him without panic. He noticed something no one else did. In the rhythm of the pulses, there were small gaps, almost invisible. Tiny moments when the energy weakened just slightly. It was not much, but it was enough. A chance. Liam grinned. He reached into his coat and pulled out his small weapon. It looked simple, a metal tube with a handle and a trigger, but it contained a human-designed energy disruptor. Humans like to take simple ideas and improve them. This device was designed to send a concentrated pulse that could interfere with other energy sources. The other cadets laughed when they saw it. "You expect that to stop the Void Devourer?" one of them asked, a winged alien named Creel. His voice was high and musical but full of mockery. Liam ignored him. "We'll see," he said softly. His words did not need to be loud. Actions spoke louder. The next wave of the Void Devourer came. Liam stayed focused, counting the rhythm in his head. 1, 2, 3, a slight pause, the tiny gap. That was it. The moment. He aimed and fired his weapon. There was a sharp pulse of light. The energy from his device met the machine's pulse at the exact moment of the gap. For a fraction of a second, the energy faltered. It wavered and shifted, almost like the Void Devourer had blinked. Liam's heart jumped. He had done it. Viewership's eyes widened, and even the other cadets stopped to stare. The machine staggered in the simulation. The panels on its surface flickered. Liam's pulse raced, but he stayed calm. There was still more to do. This was just the first step. The cadets tried to continue their attacks, but they were uncoordinated, panicked. Some moved too early, some too late. Their weapons failed to find the weak points Liam had observed. The aliens were brilliant, yes, but they were rigid in thinking. Humans were flexible. Humans were creative. Liam moved differently, his steps small and careful, adjusting with every pulse. He could feel the rhythm of the machine now. It was almost like a song, a deadly song. Every beat, every pulse, every gap. He focused on it, letting it guide his movements. The chamber shook as the Void Devourer's energy waves grew stronger. Liam could hear the metal hum, the vibrations in the floor. Other cadets screamed or shouted, trying to protect themselves. Liam did not panic. He had something they did not, a plan. He fired again, timing his shot perfectly with the next gap in the pulse. The machine wavered again, more noticeably this time. Sparks flew along its surface in the simulation, as if it were weakening. Some cadets stopped and stared, their mouths open. "Did you see that?" one muttered. Virinak's eyes narrowed. He had never seen a human do something like this. Aliens had always relied on raw power, numbers, or complicated devices. Humans relied on thinking, on creativity, and yes, sometimes on luck. But this was something more. This was intuition, combined with observation, combined with courage. The simulation continued, each wave more intense than the last. Liam felt the strain in his arms, the sweat on his forehead, but he did not stop. He counted each pulse, waited for the gaps, and fired at the right moments. The Void Devourer staggered more and more. The sound of energy cracking filled the chamber, making the other cadets step back in fear. Some aliens tried to interfere, thinking Liam's actions were reckless. One reached out with a glowing spear, trying to force him away from the perfect timing. Liam dodged smoothly. He kept his focus on the rhythm. He had trained for moments like this, not in raw strength, but in observation, patience, and precision. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, the Void Devourer collapsed in the simulation, its energy dispersing into harmless sparks. The chamber was silent. Only Liam stood, breathing heavily but steady, his weapon still in hand. Virinak approached slowly, his massive form casting a shadow over Liam. His eyes glowed brighter than usual. "Impressive," he said, his voice low. "No human has ever done this before." "You may have found a way." The other cadets looked at Liam differently now, some with awe, some with disbelief. The winged alien Creel muttered something under his breath, but it sounded more like respect than ridicule. Liam's chest swelled slightly, but he kept his face calm. He had more to prove, more to learn, and more to show. As the simulation ended and the cadets left the chamber, Liam stayed behind for a moment. He looked at his weapon, simple and unassuming, and smiled. It was not about having the strongest technology. It was about seeing what others could not, thinking what others would not, and daring to act when everyone else hesitated. The day had started like any other in the Galactic Defense Academy. It had ended with a human cadet showing that sometimes the smallest, simplest thing could challenge the greatest power in the galaxy. Liam knew this was only the beginning. The Void Devourer had been defeated in a simulation, but real challenges lay ahead. And he was ready. The next morning, Liam arrived at the academy earlier than usual. The halls were quiet, and the soft hum of the lighting panels filled the space. Most cadets were still asleep or preparing slowly for the day's lessons, but Liam had no time to waste. He wanted to study the simulation from yesterday, to understand the Void Devourer even better. He entered the data room, a wide space filled with glowing screens and floating holograms. Each cadet could access information about past simulations, weapon designs, and tactics from countless battles. Liam approached a large hollow panel and activated it. The Void Devourer simulation replayed, looping from the moment it had activated to the final collapse caused by his small weapon. He studied it carefully. The machine's energy pulses had a rhythm, yes, but there were other patterns too, small vibrations, changes in color, and subtle shifts in energy direction. Most cadets ignored these details. Most alien cadets relied on brute force or complex technology. Liam, however, knew that small details often held the key. Humans were good at seeing what others overlooked. As he examined the simulation, another cadet entered the room. Her name was Clara Benson, a human like him, but smaller and quicker. She had always been clever, quick to learn, and eager to help others. You're still studying that thing? She asked. Her voice was soft, but there was curiosity in it. Liam looked at her and smiled slightly. I want to understand it better. Yesterday was just a start. The gaps I found, they might not be enough in a real situation. The machine is too strong. We need more. Clara nodded. I get it. Most cadets would just panic or follow instructions, but you actually think. They both laughed quietly, but their laughter had no real joy. The gravity of the task ahead weighed on them. The Void Devourer was not just a simulation. It represented real danger. If such a weapon existed in the galaxy, it could destroy entire planets and fleets. Humans had always been underestimated, but they needed more than courage. They needed cleverness, strategy, and teamwork. Liam pulled up the schematics of his small weapon. It was simple, yes, but he knew it could be improved. Clara leaned over his shoulder, examining the design. You think this can be upgraded? She asked. I have some ideas, Liam replied. If we can adjust the pulse timing and maybe combine it with a feedback loop, we could disrupt larger energy flows. It won't destroy the Void Devourer completely, but it could slow it down or destabilize it, enough for a bigger attack. Clara's eyes widened. That sounds risky, but it could work. For hours, they worked together. Liam studied the simulation, recording every subtle vibration. Clara sketched out modifications to the weapon, suggesting ways to make it lighter and faster. They talked quietly, carefully, as if the walls themselves might be listening. They knew that even instructors sometimes doubted human ingenuity, but they did not care. Their goal was clear: find a way to challenge what no one else thought could be challenged. By mid-afternoon, they had finished a prototype. Liam held it in his hands and felt the weight. It was still small, still simple, but it now had a layered system to detect energy fluctuations and react instantly. It would be faster and more precise than the original. Clara grinned. It looks human, she said. Simple, smart, and a little stubborn. Liam laughed. Exactly. Before they could test it, the academy alarm sounded. A deep, echoing vibration rolled through the halls. Cadets rushed to the training bay, aliens flying or running in all directions. Viewership appeared, his massive form moving quickly, scales reflecting the alarm lights. Cadets. The next challenge has arrived, he bellowed. A new simulation, stronger than before. The Void Devourer has been upgraded. It will test your limits. Liam's heart skipped a beat, but he did not panic. The upgrade meant more energy, faster pulses, and fewer gaps. It would be harder, yes, but not impossible. Humans thrived in impossible situations. He glanced at Clara. She nodded, understanding without words. They had to act carefully, observe, and trust their plan. The training bay doors opened, revealing the upgraded Void Devourer. It was larger, taller, and its energy pulses moved unpredictably. Sparks ran along its surface like lightning trapped in metal. Liam could see some cadets step back, fear evident in their movements. The aliens looked powerful, but they relied too much on speed and strength. Liam relied on thought. The simulation began. Energy waves shot out from the machine faster than before, making the air feel like fire. Cadets scattered, shields flaring, armor flashing with light. Liam crouched, watching. He noted each pulse, each slight variation, each vibration. The gaps were smaller now, almost invisible, but they were still there. He activated the new weapon. A quiet hum filled his hands as the device powered up. Unlike the aliens' massive weapons, it was subtle, almost easy to miss. But Liam knew its potential. He waited, counting the rhythm, his eyes sharp. The first opportunity came, a tiny pause in the energy wave. He fired, and the pulse hit the machine exactly at the right moment. The Void Devourer staggered, sparks flying from its surface. The other cadets froze, eyes wide. No one had done this before. Look, Clara shouted, pointing at the display. He did it again. The aliens in the simulation chamber tried to interfere, using all their advanced technology. Shields flared, energy beams shot out, and some even tried to physically block Liam. He dodged carefully, timing every step with the energy pulses. He was moving differently, like he was dancing with the machine, reading its rhythm, reacting faster than anyone else. One alien cadet, a large quadruped named Galactic, tried to charge at him. Liam sidestepped with a quick movement and fired at the exact moment of a pulse gap. The weapon's energy hit the Void Devourer, causing it to wobble violently. Sparks and smoke filled the simulation, and even Galactic stumbled back, shocked. Viewership observed silently. His golden eyes narrowed, analyzing every movement. He had expected some cleverness from humans, but not like this. Liam was not just brave or reckless, he was precise, patient, and inventive. Humans did not rely on power. They relied on intelligence, observation, and a willingness to take risks others would never try. Minutes passed like hours. Liam continued, firing the weapon only at the precise moments, adjusting constantly as the Void Devourer tried to compensate. Every small victory caused the machine to falter slightly more. His body ached, his palms were sweaty, but he did not stop. He had learned to trust his instincts, his observations, and his human creativity. Clara cheered quietly from the side, providing small adjustments and keeping track of the machine's reactions. Together, they formed a human rhythm that was invisible to the other cadets. No one else could see it, but Liam and Clara could feel it. Finally, the upgraded Void Devourer stumbled and faltered in the simulation. Its massive energy pulses weakened, sparks shooting out as the system tried to stabilize. The chamber shook with the force of the machine's instability. Some alien cadets stepped back, fear and awe in their expressions. Liam fired one last pulse. The machine collapsed completely, its energy dissipating harmlessly. Silence filled the chamber. Only Liam stood, breathing heavily but steady, holding his small weapon. Viewership approached slowly, his massive body casting a long shadow over him. His scales shimmered in unusual patterns, a sign of deep thought. "Remarkable," he said finally. "You have done what no cadet, human or alien, has ever done. You adapted, you observed, you acted when others could not. Impressive." The other cadets looked at Liam differently now. Respect, disbelief, and even a little fear mixed on their faces. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but now they had seen that unpredictability could overcome even the greatest strength. Liam lowered the weapon and smiled faintly. "It was the gaps," he said quietly. "Small gaps, you just have to see them and act," Clara grinned. "And a little human stubbornness." Virenak's eyes seemed to narrow thoughtfully. "Yes, and that may be the true difference between humans and other races. You do not rely on what is given. You create solutions, even from nothing. You challenge the impossible." Liam nodded. He knew this was just the beginning. The simulations were dangerous, yes, but real threats in the galaxy would be even more unpredictable. Humans had always been underestimated, and that underestimation was their greatest weapon. As the cadets left the chamber, Liam and Clara stayed behind for a moment, reviewing the simulation data. They talked quietly, making notes, preparing for what would come next. The academy was filled with aliens, each brilliant in their own way, but humans had a different kind of brilliance. The kind that could change the outcome of a battle, a war, or even a galaxy. For the first time, Liam realized something important. It was not about having the strongest weapon. It was about thinking differently, acting differently, seeing opportunities others missed. And when the moment came, daring to act, even when everyone else said it was impossible. The next week at the academy felt different. Cadets whispered as Liam walked through the halls, some glancing with curiosity, others with disbelief. Humans had always been underestimated, but now Liam had proven that even the most advanced alien technology could be challenged. Yet Liam did not let it go to his head. He knew the real tests were yet to come, and the simulations were only practice for what might be waiting in the galaxy. Clara met him in the training bay, carrying a small bag filled with new parts for their weapons. "Ready for today?" she asked, her eyes bright. Liam nodded. "We have to be. Today's exercise is the full combat scenario, not just simulations. We'll face multiple waves, and the machine will be unpredictable." The instructors had designed this exercise to be the ultimate test. Multiple Void Devourer units would appear, some controlled by AI, some acting randomly. The cadets would have to navigate through waves of energy attacks, plan strategies, and survive. For aliens, it was a challenge of strength and reflexes. For humans, it was a challenge of observation, creativity, and decision-making. When they entered the chamber, Liam and Clara paused to look around. The arena was massive, larger than anything Liam had seen before. The floor was smooth, glowing faintly, and the walls reflected light in shifting colors. Platforms rose and fell, energy barriers moved unpredictably, and the shadows of unseen machines danced across the surfaces. Viewership appeared at the center of the chamber. "Cadets, today you will face a challenge designed to test your limits. The multiple Void Devourer units have been programmed with advanced AI. They will act unpredictably. You must survive, adapt, and succeed. No human has completed this exercise before." Liam took a deep breath. No human had done this before, but that did not matter. Humans were adaptable, humans were inventive, and Liam had a mind trained to notice the smallest details. The exercise began. The first unit appeared with a flash of dark energy, its pulses striking the floor in a rhythmic, powerful pattern. Cadets scattered, using shields, energy blades, or jumps to avoid the waves. Liam crouched, observing. He noticed that even in randomness, the AI created small, subtle gaps. Tiny pauses, slight hesitations, micro-moments of weakness. He pulled out the upgraded weapon he and Clara had worked on. Its soft hum was reassuring, a reminder that human ingenuity could make the impossible possible. He waited for the first clear gap and fired. The pulse hit exactly at the right moment, causing the unit to stagger. Sparks flew across its surface and it briefly faltered. The other cadets gasped. The aliens had relied on pure strength before, and now a human had found a weakness. Some tried to copy him, but they did not understand the timing. They attacked randomly, and the machines reacted quickly, striking back with increased force. Liam moved carefully, dodging energy waves, observing patterns, and firing only when the opportunity appeared. He realized that this exercise was not just about attacking, it was about patience. The Void Devourer units punished mistakes immediately. A single wrong move could mean a simulated death. As he advanced, another unit appeared from above, sending a pulse downwards that threatened to knock him off his feet. He rolled to the side, barely avoiding it, and fired again at a gap in its energy. The machine's surface cracked slightly, smoke rising from the point of contact. Clara stayed close behind him, keeping track of energy pulses and noting the unit's behavior. "Two more on the left," she whispered. "They're coordinating attacks." "Watch the rhythm, they're trying to trick us into firing too early." Liam adjusted. The AI was learning, adapting, trying to anticipate human movements. But humans could adapt too. He changed his approach slightly, moving unpredictably, alternating speed, sometimes pausing, sometimes sprinting. He fired again at the exact gaps he had predicted. The first unit collapsed, then the second faltered, and finally, one by one, the machines began to fail. Viewership watched silently. His eyes glowed gold, flickering with what might have been surprise or admiration. He had never seen a human handle multiple Void Devourer units at once. Most cadets could not manage even one. Liam's calm, careful movements and precise attacks were something else entirely. But the exercise was not over. As Liam advanced to the next platform, a new threat appeared. A massive Void Devourer unit, larger than all the others, rose from the center of the chamber. Its pulses were faster, stronger, and irregular. It did not follow the predictable patterns of the previous machines. This one was dangerous. The floor trembled as the unit unleashed a wide energy wave. Liam jumped, landing carefully, and fired his weapon at the first tiny gap he could see. The pulse hit, but only caused a small disruption. This machine would not be defeated easily. Clara called out, "We need a new strategy. One weapon won't be enough against that unit." Liam nodded. He noticed that the larger unit's pulses had a pattern hidden in its randomness. Small vibrations ran along its surface, almost like a secondary rhythm. If they could time their attacks with both the primary and secondary patterns, they could destabilize it. They moved together carefully, avoiding energy waves, jumping across moving platforms, and firing only at precise moments. The machine lashed out, attempting to predict human movements, but Liam and Clara were not predictable. Humans had the advantage of creativity, of thinking outside of what seemed possible. Minutes passed, each second feeling like an eternity. Cadets around them struggled, some failing to survive even a single wave. Liam's body ached. His arms were tired from holding the weapon steady, but his mind was sharp. He counted every pulse, every vibration, adjusting timing slightly, moving with the rhythm of the machine. Clara fired her small weapon at the secondary rhythm, creating a small feedback loop that disrupted the unit slightly. Liam followed with a well-timed pulse. Sparks flew, energy crackled, and the unit staggered. For the first time, it seemed unstable. Viewership stepped forward, his voice calm but deep. "Interesting. The human cadets are finding solutions no AI or alien cadet has discovered before. Observation, timing, adaptation, qualities that cannot be programmed or forced." Liam did not pause. He focused entirely on the unit, noting how each pulse affected the environment. Platforms shook, Energy barriers flickered, and even the air seemed to vibrate with power. Yet he moved carefully, calculating risk, trusting his instincts. Humans had a gift for seeing opportunity where others only saw danger. The final moment approached. Liam and Clara had managed to weaken the massive unit, but it still stood, its energy pulses still dangerous. He glanced at Clara, nodded, and prepared for a combined attack. Timing would be critical. One mistake, one misfire, and the unit could strike them both down. They waited for the perfect moment. Energy pulsed across the chamber, a deadly rhythm that would have killed any cadet who acted too soon. Liam fired first, a pulse that targeted the primary rhythm. Clara fired immediately after, hitting the secondary rhythm. The combination created a resonance that the unit could not compensate for. The massive void devourer staggered violently, sparks flying in every direction. Liam and Clara held their positions, steady, watching as the machine faltered. Then, with a final burst of energy, it collapsed, its power dispersing harmlessly into the chamber. Silence filled the arena. Viewership stepped closer, his massive form towering over them. His golden eyes glowed brighter than ever. "Remarkable," he said. "You have done what no cadet, human or alien, has ever done. You adapted, observed, and acted when others could not. Your creativity and courage are extraordinary." The other cadets looked at Liam and Clara in awe. Some whispered words of respect, others muttered disbelief. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, but today they had proven that intelligence, courage, and creativity could overcome even the deadliest force in the galaxy. Liam lowered his weapon, his chest heaving, sweat running down his face. Clara smiled beside him, equally exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," she said quietly. Liam nodded. "We did, but this is just practice. The real galaxy out there will be harder, faster, and more dangerous. But we're ready." Viewership studied them for a moment longer, then nodded. "Indeed. Humans, you may not have the raw power of other species, but you have something far more valuable, ingenuity and courage. Remember this lesson. You may be small, but you can change outcomes that seem impossible." Liam looked around the chamber, seeing the other cadets struggling to recover from the exercise. He realized that human potential was not just in strength or weapons, but in thinking differently, daring to act, and finding solutions where others could not. As they left the arena, Liam and Clara talked quietly, reviewing their strategy, noting what worked and what could be improved. The galaxy would be dangerous, but humans had a gift that no AI, no machine, and no alien could predict fully. And with that gift, they could face any challenge. For Liam, the exercise was more than a simulation. It was proof that even in a universe full of unstoppable machines and advanced alien races, humans could stand out. They could survive. They could innovate. And they could win, even when the odds were impossible. The day after the massive simulation, Liam felt restless. The exercises had tested skill, timing, and teamwork, but now he knew the galaxy outside the academy would be far more dangerous. The instructors had warned that simulations could never fully prepare cadets for real combat, and Liam had begun to understand what that meant. He walked through the academy corridors, noticing the alien cadets who still whispered about him and Clara. Some were impressed, some skeptical, but all had changed their opinions of humans slightly. Liam did not mind their attention. What concerned him was what lay beyond the academy. The galaxy was vast, and threats were unpredictable. The void devourer simulations were only a fraction of what could exist. Clara met him in the training bay again, her eyes bright with determination. "We've proven we can handle the simulations," she said, but the instructors hinted at the next challenge, real-life scenarios. "Not simulations, something outside the academy," Liam nodded. "I know, I can feel it. This is the part where humans either succeed or fail. We'll need every bit of observation, every bit of creativity we have." Their weapons were packed and ready, the upgraded versions tested repeatedly. They had learned to anticipate energy waves, to count rhythms, to move unpredictably. But in the galaxy, enemies did not follow predictable patterns. The Void Devourer units in simulations had given them practice, yes, but real threats would be faster, smarter, and more dangerous. The announcement came in the mid-afternoon. Viewership's deep voice echoed through the academy. "Cadets, a new assignment has arrived." A distress signal was detected from the outer sector of the Zorathian system. "A human settlement is under attack. Reports indicate an unknown enemy using technology resembling the Void Devourer. You are to investigate and respond. This will be your first real test. Liam's heart raced. This was not a simulation. People could die. Decisions had to be quick, precise, and correct. He glanced at Clara. She met his gaze steadily, without fear. "We can do this," she said softly. They boarded the small transport ship assigned to them, a compact craft built for speed and agility. Liam piloted while Clara monitored sensors and communications. The journey to the outer sector was tense. Both remained silent, concentrating on the readings from the ship systems. Every blip on the sensors could mean danger. As they approached the Zorathian system, the view through the cockpit revealed destruction. Entire orbital platforms had been shattered, debris floating in silence. Fires glowed on the surface of the planets, indicating attacks from above. Liam felt a knot of tension in his stomach. The Void Devourer simulation had been challenging, yes, but this was real. Real people were in danger. They landed on the planet's surface in a relatively safe zone, but the smell of smoke and the sound of distant explosions filled the air. Alien civilians and human settlers were running in panic, seeking cover from unseen attackers. Liam activated his upgraded weapon, its soft hum reassuring. Clara followed, scanning for enemy signatures. Suddenly, a massive energy wave struck nearby. The ground trembled and rocks flew into the air. Liam rolled to the side, firing his weapon at a gap in the pulse. Sparks erupted where the energy met his disruptor, and the wave faltered slightly. He realized immediately that this enemy was not identical to the simulation units. It was faster, smarter, and it adapted quickly. Clara pointed to a structure in the distance. "They're coming from the energy tower over there. That's their main source. We need to take it down or the settlements won't survive." Liam nodded. "We'll need to coordinate carefully. One wrong move and we could lose civilians or get trapped ourselves." They advanced cautiously, dodging pulses and debris. The enemy units moved unpredictably, sometimes splitting their attacks, sometimes focusing all energy in a single strike. Liam and Clara kept their movements tight, timing every pulse from their weapon with the enemy's energy patterns. Each disruption caused a small delay, buying time to move closer. As they approached the tower, a massive unit blocked their path. Its size was greater than anything they had seen in simulations. Energy waves radiated outward, strong enough to throw them off their feet. Liam crouched, studying the rhythm. Unlike the simulations, this unit adapted instantly. Every move he predicted seemed slightly off. "We need a new plan," Clara said. Her eyes scanned the enemy, calculating quickly. "If we combine our pulses at the exact moment, hitting both the primary and secondary rhythms, we can destabilize it long enough to reach the tower." Liam nodded. He counted, waiting for the perfect gap. The energy waves came faster, but he adjusted with every pulse. Timing was everything. 1 second too early or too late could mean disaster. "Now!" he shouted. Both fired their weapons simultaneously. The energy met the enemy's pulses perfectly, creating a resonance that disrupted its balance. Sparks flew, and the massive unit staggered. For the first time, it faltered, exposing a weak point at the base of its energy core. Liam sprinted forward, dodging secondary pulses, and aimed for the weak point. Clara provided covering fire, hitting the secondary rhythm to keep the enemy off balance. The massive unit struggled, trying to compensate, but the human tactics were too precise. Liam's disruptor pulse hit the core, and the unit exploded in a controlled burst, sending debris flying but leaving the civilians unharmed. The energy tower trembled, and the remaining units paused, confused. Liam and Clara took advantage, moving toward the tower carefully. They placed a series of disruptor devices around the base, each time to resonate with the enemy's energy patterns. The tower's pulse began to destabilize, energy fluctuations increasing with each second. The enemy units tried to respond, but their coordination faltered. They had never faced humans with such unpredictable thinking. Liam realized something important. The enemy relied on power and numbers. Humans relied on creativity, observation, and timing. One well-placed move could change the tide of battle. Finally, the tower collapsed in a controlled explosion. Energy waves ceased, and the remaining enemy units retreated, confused and disoriented. Liam and Clara stood, breathing heavily, scanning the area to ensure no civilians were hurt. V. Rinak's voice came over the comms. "Cadets, I am impressed. You have handled your first real-life threat exceptionally. Your ingenuity and courage saved lives today. Remember this lesson. Humans can succeed where others fail, not because of strength alone, but because of the ability to think differently. Liam nodded silently, feeling the weight of the responsibility. This was no simulation. Real lives had been at stake, and humans had made a difference. As they helped civilians recover, Liam realized something more. It was not just about weapons or power. It was about observation, patience, and daring to act when others hesitated. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries, but now one human cadet and his companion had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humans could change the outcome. Clara smiled at him. "We did more than survive, we made a difference." Liam nodded. "And we'll keep doing it. The galaxy is full of challenges, and humans are just getting started." As the sun set over the damaged settlement, Liam looked at the horizon, understanding the truth. The universe was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable. But humans had a gift that could never be calculated, predicted, or controlled: ingenuity, courage, and the willingness to act when others would not. For the first time, he felt a quiet pride, not for himself, but for humanity. No weapon, no machine, no enemy could truly stop a human who thought differently, acted bravely, and refused to give up. The battle in the Zorathian system had ended, but the galaxy was far from quiet. Liam and Clara returned to the academy, their transport ship gliding silently through the stars. The destruction they had witnessed on the planet lingered in their minds. They had saved lives, yes, but Liam knew that this was only the beginning. In the galaxy, threats were constant, and humans would always be underestimated. That underestimation, he thought, was their greatest advantage. As they landed, Virinak waited at the hangar doors. His massive frame towered over the cadets, scales shimmering faintly in the light of the landing bay. His golden eyes were fixed on Liam and Clara. "You have done more than survive," he said. "You have changed the perspective of every cadet who witnessed your actions." Humans are unpredictable, inventive, and courageous, qualities that cannot be taught, only found in the spirit. Liam nodded, feeling a quiet pride. "We just did what we had to do," he said softly. Virinak tilted his head, studying him carefully. "No. You did what others could not. You saw opportunity where others saw danger. You acted when others hesitated. That is why humans are remarkable." The words were simple, but they carried weight. Liam realized that humans were more than their physical strength or technology. They had the ability to think differently, to challenge assumptions, and to act where others feared. And now, the galaxy was beginning to notice. Back in the academy, news of the Zorathian victory spread quickly. Alien cadets whispered about the humans who had faced overwhelming odds and won. Some were skeptical, others impressed, but all had seen something new. Humans were not weak. Humans were not reckless. Humans were clever, determined, and daring, and Liam had shown it. In the days that followed, Liam and Clara were called to the Academy's command chamber. Holographic maps of the galaxy glowed in the air, showing fleets, settlements, and threats. Virinak stood beside the largest map, pointing to points of conflict and danger. "Cadets, your actions in the Zorathian system have been exceptional," he said. "But the galaxy is changing. There are forces beyond even the Void Devourer units, forces that no simulation can predict. We need humans who can think differently, act creatively, and face the impossible. You two will lead a new initiative." Liam's eyes widened slightly. "Lead an initiative?" he asked. "Yes," Virinak replied. "A unit composed of humans and select alien cadets. Your task will be to respond to threats that require ingenuity, courage, and unconventional thinking. The galaxy will underestimate you. Use that. Humans have a gift, and it must be applied to protect life and maintain balance." Clara's face lit up. "We'll do our best." "I know you will," Virinak said. "But remember, this is not about strength alone. It is about observation, timing, and daring to act when others hesitate. That is the human way." Liam and Clara spent the next weeks preparing. They trained not just in combat, but in strategy, observation, and teamwork. Alien cadets joined them, curious to learn how humans approached problems differently. Some were skeptical at first, but they soon realized that human methods, while unconventional, were effective. One day, while reviewing the latest reports, Liam noticed a signal from deep space. A fleet of unknown ships was approaching a human colony on the edge of explored space. The ships were large, heavily armed, and moving faster than standard detection allowed. Liam studied the patterns, noting subtle irregularities in their formation. Something about their movements suggested they were not merely attacking, they were testing defenses, learning patterns, and adapting quickly. Clara looked over his shoulder. "They're not random," she said. "They're calculating, observing like the Void Devourer units, but on a larger scale. If we face them the same way we faced the simulation, we'll fail." Liam nodded. "Then we need a new approach, not just reaction, but anticipation. We need to think several steps ahead, and we need to use the galaxy itself to our advantage." They prepared their fleet, composed of humans and alien cadets selected for adaptability and creativity. Each ship carried weapons designed not for brute force, but for precision disruption, mirroring the tactics that had worked against the Void Devourer units. Liam and Clara coordinated every detail, using the gaps in enemy patterns, exploiting weaknesses, and planning movements that no conventional commander would consider. The enemy fleet arrived, a shadow stretching across the starfield. Their weapons glowed, their engines hummed with power, and their ships moved with terrifying precision. Many cadets panicked, expecting a straightforward battle of strength. Liam did not. Humans thrived in chaos and unpredictability and in situations where others saw only danger. "Remember," Liam said to the fleet over comms. "Observe, wait, act, don't attack blindly, find the gaps and hit them precisely. Every move counts." The battle began. Enemy weapons fired, energy waves rippled through space, and ships danced between blasts. Liam and Clara guided their fleet, timing every attack, coordinating movements with humans and alien cadets alike. They struck not at the strongest points, but at vulnerabilities others ignored. One by one, enemy ships faltered. Liam noticed patterns in their movements, small, repeated behaviors that hinted at a central control. He targeted it, using a combination of human ingenuity and precise timing. Clara coordinated a flanking maneuver, exploiting the enemy's own calculations against them. The central ship, a massive vessel bristling with energy weapons, reacted violently. Pulses shot outward, disrupting surrounding ships. Many cadets panicked, but Liam stayed calm, counting pulses, anticipating reactions, and firing only at the precise moments. Clara mirrored his timing, creating a resonance that the enemy could not compensate for. With a final coordinated strike, the central ship collapsed, its energy dispersing harmlessly across the void. The remaining enemy vessels, seeing their command ship destroyed, fled into the darkness of space. Silence filled the battlefield. Liam exhaled, letting the tension leave his body. Clara smiled beside him. "We did it," she said, her voice tired but triumphant. Virinak's voice came over comms, calm but full of awe. "Cadets, you have done what many thought impossible. You have faced the unknown, adapted, and overcome. Humans, your ingenuity and courage have saved a colony today. You have proven that the human spirit can triumph where strength alone fails." The fleet returned to the academy, victorious but aware of the challenges still ahead. Liam looked at Clara and then at the other cadets. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The galaxy will keep testing us and it will underestimate humans every time. But we can use that. Every time they think we are weak, we'll prove them wrong." Clara nodded. "And we'll keep learning, adapting, and acting when others hesitate. That's what humans do." News of their victory spread across the galaxy. Humans, long considered weak and unpredictable, were now seen as formidable, not because of strength or advanced technology, but because of creativity, courage, and the ability to act differently. Other races began to take notice, and slowly respect grew alongside curiosity and caution. Liam realized something important. Humans were not the strongest, the fastest, or the most technologically advanced. But they were capable of thinking, observing, and acting in ways no one else could. That uniqueness was their greatest weapon, and it could never be fully predicted or controlled. As Liam and Clara stood on the Academy's observation deck, looking out at the stars, they felt the weight of responsibility, but also the thrill of possibility. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but humans had a gift no one else possessed: ingenuity, courage, and the refusal to give up when the odds were impossible. "Do you think they'll ever understand?" Clara asked quietly. "Maybe not fully," Liam replied. "But they don't need to. They just need to see what humans can do when they act without fear and with a mind willing to find the impossible." And as the twin suns of the Academy's planet set, Casting a warm glow across the horizon, Liam knew one truth above all. Humans could face anything. No weapon, no machine, no enemy could stop a human who thought differently, acted bravely, and refused to surrender. The galaxy had learned a lesson that day, one that could never be unlearned. Humans were not weak, not predictable, and not to be underestimated. They were clever, daring, and capable of turning the impossible into reality. And Liam Carter, a single human cadet, had shown the universe what that truly meant. With Clara by his side and the stars ahead, he felt ready for whatever came next. The galaxy was full of dangers, yes, but humans would never stop. And that was the most powerful weapon of all,